In our hermeneutics course, this is the beginning of lecture 16. In lecture 15, we looked at the concept of genre, literary genre, types of literature, and we looked at one genre, parable. Now, in this lecture, we'll look at another genre, prophecy. Prophecy often contains symbols and figures of speech, which obscure the meaning, but also make it much more beautiful. Prophecies often have a tone of warning and judgment. The prophets often warned of the consequences of continuing to disobey God so that the hearers would repent and return to God. It's important to recreate the setting, the situation. Use the questions who, what, where, when, how, why. Ask what the problem is that the prophet is addressing. What images does he use? Who is he speaking to? What's their spiritual situation? What's their historical situation? Is this a prophecy before the exile, a prophecy during the exile, or a post-exilic prophecy? What's the setting? How did the people respond? Is it reported? If it's not reported, we don't know. What do you learn about God from the prophet's message? What happened after the prophet gave his message? Prophecy. Watch for conditional and unconditional prophecies and promises. In the discussion of the rule, interpret in harmony with other teachings of the Bible, the idea of conditional and unconditional covenants was discussed, but also there are conditional and unconditional promises, there are conditional and unconditional prophecies. Jonah made a prophecy that yet 40 days and Nineveh will be destroyed. But it was a conditional promise. There was an unstated condition unless Nineveh repents. And Nineveh did repent, which kind of disappointed Jonah. And Nineveh was not destroyed. So there was an unstated condition in that promise that Nineveh will be destroyed. So are we reading prophecies that are conditional or unconditional? Likewise, there are prophecies that have already been fulfilled. We looked at that prophecy about the Lord riding the king, entering Jerusalem, seated on the donkey, the foal of a donkey. That was prophesied and then fulfilled in the Gospels. And there are prophecies that have not yet been fulfilled. Now watch for double fulfillment, as in the case of Daniel 8, 9 through 12, and 8, 23 through 25. That prophecy of Daniel was partially fulfilled by a ruler named Antiochus the Fourth, or Antiochus Epiphanes. His reign was from 215 to 164 BC. But that was only a partial fulfillment by Antiochus Epiphanes. And the final fulfillment of that prophecy will be by the Antichrist. So you have conditional and unconditional prophecies, and you have prophecies that are fulfilled and not yet fulfilled, and you have prophecies that have double fulfillment. So prophecy can be very complicated. But above all else, the interpreter should remember that the 4 rules of interpretation discussed earlier are perfectly valid and applicable in prophetic literature. We do not have the right to suddenly ignore any of those 4 rules once we begin to interpret prophecy. Of course, this is the end of lecture 16 on the genre of prophecy in our hermeneutics course.